Namaste. Today we will see why common man fails in his attempt at meditation. There are three major reasons. The first one is physical discomfort, the second one is mental discomfort, and the third one is no mental engagement. You will recall meditation is relaxed concentration. So first I need to concentrate on calming down my mind, and second I need to plant certain positivity in my subconscious mind. But to achieve a calm mind, I need physical comfort. So when I sit down on the floor in a cross-leg position or on a chair, the first thing that happens is I develop some physical discomfort in some part of my body. Suppose I am stooping forward. Then after 10-15 minutes, my spine starts complaining. I get a pain somewhere in my neck or the middle back or the lower back. Once my body attracts my attention towards the pain that it is feeling in some part of the body, my attention from my mind is diverted. That's the beginning of failure of meditation because of physical discomfort. So how do I overcome this? First, understand how to sit straight. So if you are sitting on the floor with the meditation seat, a soft cushion under your buttocks, fairly thick so that your buttocks are raised above the floor level and your knees are sloping downwards. Then the thinner cushion under your ankles so that there is no weight on the ankle bones, which over a period of time will start hurting as you sit long for meditation. So now your ankles are comfortable, your buttocks are comfortable, your legs are crossed, folded. Now many people have a habit of folding the legs in a very tight manner. That's another reason why meditation fails. When you cross your legs tightly, you are hampering blood circulation, and then there is numbness developing in your thighs and legs, and then your attention is diverted. So have a very loose fold of the legs. Then see that you are uniformly balanced on both the buttocks. That means there won't be any distortion of your spine sideways. Then many of us see that the meditational posture is a person resting his hands on his knees. Now if you have long arms, that's fine. But if your arms are short, then to reach the knees, you are stooping forward. The minute your head is at an angle, the weight of the head increases. And after 5, 7, 10 minutes, it starts telling on your neck or the middle of the back. So it's important that your head, neck and spine are comfortably straight. Not military straight, not stiff like this, but comfortably straight. How do you ensure that? You move your hands back and forth and see where your shoulders align with your neck and your head. Now this gives you a very comfortable alignment of the neck with the spine and neck with the head. This will enable you to sit for long hours for meditation without developing any physical discomfort. Another reason for physical discomfort is tight clothing. So whenever you plan to sit for meditation, sit with loose, comfortable clothing. The third reason is full stomach. That makes you drowsy. So these are the physical reasons for discomfort. Now whenever you are meditating, either you are trying to sit silent, not chant anything. Some teachers advise you to focus somewhere in the middle of the forehead and not have any thoughts. Now that's a very tough call, not to have any thoughts, because thoughts keep coming in. And you can do a small experiment. You can try to sit for 5 minutes and see how many thoughts come into your mind. And you can sit for another 5 minutes and chant a particular line, or maybe even Om, or anything that you are comfortable with. Chant just one line for 5 minutes repeatedly, and then try to recollect the thoughts that came into your mind when you were chanting. So the difference is, when you are sitting without any engagement, the thoughts engage you. But when you are chanting something which you have memorized, then the chanting engages you, and then the thoughts don't disturb you. And that's why it's important what you select for the chanting. Now, if you are chanting a mantra and if you don't know the meaning of the mantra, then it becomes a little futile to sit for 5 minutes and chanting something which you know nothing of. So it's a good idea to chant something which you know is going to benefit you. Take even some simple thing like making money. My business is flourishing. You can chant that one line, my business is flourishing, repeatedly. That's a good enough mantra. At least you understand the meaning of that line, my business is flourishing. Instead of chanting something in Sanskrit just because somebody told you that ye mantra jaap karo aur aapka bhala hoga, but you don't understand the meaning of that mantra. So whatever you are hearing as a chant is not penetrating into your subconscious meaningfully. So that's the other reason why meditation fails, because there is mental disturbance. I'll give you a very simple example. You are sitting for meditation and you are chanting, let's say, Om. How mental disturbance disturbs you or disrupts your meditation. Here is a live demo. Guests for dinner. What do they like? Oh, they are vegetarian people. So I think paneer palak would be a good dish. All this is going on in my mind while I am meditating. So my first thought was, tomorrow I have guests for dinner. Immediately second thought engages. Oh, they are vegetarian people. Immediately third thought engages. They would like paneer palak. Then a fourth thought will engage. Oh, I don't have paneer in the house. Then the fifth thought will engage. I should buy paneer from XYZ shop. The seventh thought will engage. Do I have fresh palak? Then the next thought, which recipe, what masala? So a chain of thoughts is formed with that first thought. Tomorrow I have got guests for dinner. So this is the difficulty which most of us have. The minute I have the first thought, I create a chain of thoughts. I engage in that chain of thoughts. All the meditation goes into the drain. So what is the remedy? It's very simple. I am sitting for meditation, chanting Om. Tomorrow I have guests for dinner. Get out. The minute you get the first thought, throw it out. You can physically say get out. You can ask the thought to get out. And continue with your Om. Tomorrow my boss is waiting for the report. Get out. Another thought comes in. Throw it out. Now this will take some practice. It's not easy, because you are not used to throwing out thoughts. It might take you 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month. After about a month of regular daily practice, you will be able to have some control on your mind and vacate the mind. You need a vacated conscious mind for your meditations to succeed. So that's the first part of mental disturbance. Another thing that will disturb you mentally is the sounds around you. There might be a traffic sound, somebody might be honking, somebody might be shutting doors in your own house, somebody might be speaking in a loud voice. So all these sounds will be entering your ears and they will cause disturbance in your conscious mind. it might cause irritation, it might cause anger, it might cause frustration. All these things will happen. So how to not get disturbed by external environment is another key to successful meditation. Again, this will not happen overnight. You will need to practice this. Then there will come one day when there will be a big band going on the road outside, and you will be still sitting peacefully meditating without the band disturbing you. Or you can have a TV playing in the other room while you are sitting in this room, and that sound will not disturb you. So these are some of the methods of overcoming your physical and mental disturbance. Now the third factor is very important. Only people who have reached certain level of proficiency in meditation can sit in complete silence. Otherwise, the human mind needs some engagement, some occupation. And therefore, it's important that you memorize a small paragraph or a large paragraph, memorize it thoroughly, and in the posture of meditation, you can chant that paragraph, that mantra, that prayer, whatever you want to say, and it will not disturb your mind, and your meditation will succeed. So, here is an example. You must have some paragraph in your mind which will flow unhindered like water cascading down the hill. So, here is a small example. Almighty and eternal, fount of wisdom, grant us knowledge, understanding and wisdom to speak here words of truth, love and hope, and so on and so forth. Now you will have noticed that I was speaking in the rhythm of the breath as was explained to you in my demo of meditation. So you inhale, and as you exhale you chant, and you maintain the rhythm of inhalation and exhalation. So it's not necessary for you to chant the complete sentence. The English is not important, or the language is not important. The rhythm of the breath is important in meditation. So I hope you have absorbed some of the tips. Observe yourself, what is disturbing you, do the corrections and succeed in your meditation. Happy meditating. I hope you will spend these lockdown days fruitfully. Take care. Thank you.